Welcome back to Peak Health Revolution. My name is Logan Grundy, and today we're going to be going over a strength and mobility routine for your shoulders and upper body to help eliminate pain and improve posture. So let's start on the ground. We're going to need no equipment for this. We're going to get onto our hands and knees here, and what we're going to do is just start trying to make big circles with our shoulders, trying to come up, forward as far as we can, down and back, making big, nice big circles here. We're going to spend about a minute on each of these exercises. So we're going to try and get as much movement through the shoulders as we possibly can here. And then we're going to reverse that and start working back the other way. So because so many people just don't get movement through their shoulders, you're working at a desk or whatever it is you're doing something repetitive and you don't get to see the end range of motion of what your shoulder is capable of. So that's a big part of what we're going to work on here at the start, is just getting those shoulders warmed up and going through big ranges of motion. And then we'll get into a bit of the strength and mobility stuff after that. So that's our first exercise. Then we're going to move on to just simple cat-cows, getting more movement through our spine. So try to move this along one little vertebrae at a time. Go slower rather than faster. Think about the quality of what you're doing versus how many of them you're getting, and creating like a wave through your spine of curling it over and bending it back the other way. And that's exactly what we want to do, is you get lots of movement through our spine that just doesn't see that very often. So about halfway there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to move into kind of a lunge position here. Put one hand on the ground and we're just going to open up as much as we can. Use the one leg as our base of stability so that we can maximize the amount of rotation that we're getting through that side, so you're able to really push it open because you have that other leg and arm supporting you and stabilizing you. So this is getting lots of rotation now through your mid back here. And this is a really great routine to do 2, 3, 4 times a week. The more you can, the better. It shouldn't take you very long. We're probably going to be no more than 10 minutes here, and it's going to really help your shoulders and your upper back, both posturally, and if you have any kind of pain in that upper body, this is going to help eliminate that for you, because a lot of our pain comes from muscle imbalances and compensation patterns. And what we're going to do by doing all of this is eliminate those and get the shoulder and the spine moving a lot better and together as a whole. So there we go. We've started to warm up and move through that part of our body. Next, we're going to get into just some shoulder taps. This gives us an opportunity to stabilize through our core, but also to challenge our shoulder to stabilize one at a time instead of both there. So you'll notice that it's not a perfect, like I'm not pushing directly down into the ground. I'm pushing down and away just a little bit. So I'm pushing back this way, pushing back this way if we're exaggerating it. And that's going to help your shoulder learn to stabilize itself again. So we're not going super fast. How fast can I tap my shoulders? We're trying to go slow, and this shoulder has to work for a longer period of time. Instead of how fast can I do it is, hey, can I hide the fact that I'm not stable in this shoulder? We want to bring those things to light so that we can start to work on those. Next, we're going to do a push-up. It's a down dog here. So if you're not strong enough to do the full version, you can just go from a high plank here to here. So if that's all you can do, that's fantastic. That would be a regress version. But for those of us who are strong enough, we want to come down, push up into that down dog position. You can push your hips back, get a stretch through your legs. But this is going to start to strengthen the stabilizing portion of your shoulder. So we'll do a couple more here. Maybe do 4 more here. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good. Take a second, shake that out a little bit. The next one we're going to do is going to get a lot of stability involved in the shoulder, but also open it up a lot. So we're going to start back in that same position that we kind of have already seen. We're going to rotate this leg over, open up, and then try and push that up as much as we can, and repeat that. And we're going to try and do that in a nice smooth sequence. And this is great. It opens that shoulder up and forces you to stabilize. But not only that, because a lot of us spend time sitting, this is great for your hips and your shoulders both, getting things basically opposite of what we spend a lot of our day in. So we'll keep doing a couple more of these. So that's really good for our shoulders. We've warmed them up and we've moved them a lot. We quickly looked at a couple stability exercises for that shoulder and strengthening it. And now we're pulling it all together, challenging the shoulder in positions it probably doesn't see very often as far as stability and mobility or the range of motion that it can accomplish. So we'll keep it quick and short here. Just hit all of those. You can spend more time if you feel like you have a weakness or an area that's particularly stiff. Spend more time there, but we'll go wrap things up with that. There's 2 optional things that we can do here if we want to get a bit of an extra stretch. A lot of the times people's lats in through here get really tight, and same with their lower back. So we're just going to drop back down here, put our hands out a little further than what we normally would, and then we want to almost start dragging them back towards us. That's how high we want to start, and drag them back. And that just creates a little bit more tension into our lats, so our kind of back area, all the way down, even so much to our lower back. We get a tiniest bit of decompression happening here. And this is one that you can spend plenty of time in. You'll see I'll bring my arms over to one side a little bit and then lean into the opposite side. So hands over to the right, lean into that left side a little bit more and get an extra stretch there. You can also take that over to the other side and do the same thing. One thing that we want to look for through all of this stuff is, do I have one side that bothers me more? Is there a shoulder that needs more work? And if there is, if one side's really good, one side's not so good, spend that extra time on the not so good side. So we'll just a little bit longer here, just hanging out. Again, trying to traction that and let it kind of pull a bit. So that's where something like a grass or a mat is really nice. It gives you that friction so you can traction those shoulders a little bit. And once we've finished up with that, then we're going to do one extra little stretch too, because we tend to have really tight pecs. So you're going to have to find something that you can get your arm up on. Very simple. You're just going to put that arm there. We're not trying to get the maximal stretch. We're just trying to get a good stretch. So go to where you first feel it, and then you're going to rotate your body away from that arm a little bit and come forward a little bit, and that's going to tension through that pec in the front of that shoulder. But now what's really good with this one is if you start to imagine that there's a string tied to your middle finger and it's pulling it away that way, away from your shoulder, that allows you to get a stretch through basically like what we call a fascial line, so that you can stretch out your forearm, your bicep, your shoulder, and your pec all together. So with this one, we want to spend a good amount of time here, not push it, don't rush it, don't try and push deep into it, just get a little bit of a stretch there, and then just maintain that and hold that. So that's kind of level 1 is get that pec stretch. Level 2, think about that shoulder, or that finger, sorry, being attached to a string and getting that extra little bit of pull through the entire arm. You should feel a stretch. And level 3, if we want, is establish that stretch, and then think about that finger pulling away. And now what we can do is my hand's going to push into this tree like I'm trying to bring my arm this way. So I'm going to do that, hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then relax it, and then try and push a little bit deeper into that stretch. Can I get a little bit more from that stretch then. And then again, push into that tree or whatever you have handy for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax it a little bit, push deeper into that stretch. Again, like, you don't want to, there's a big difference between trying to push in that stretch a little bit and trying to just see how far you can get it where your back starts to bend and your shoulder starts to really open up and you're just trying to find room versus trying to improve the actual stretch. The joints of your body, your hips, your rib cage will allow you to get there. You know, you can even start to rotate your body more, but we want quality stretch here. So that hand's there, I'm feeling it through my pec. I now think, hey, into my finger, let it pull, and then add that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax, feel that stretch. And that's gonna wrap up that little upper body mobility session, mobility and strength back into the shoulder to help eliminate pain. If you love this video and you found it useful, I'd love if you subscribe to the channel so you can see more of these and it gets it out to a broader audience.